guys, Elizabeth here, and I have a pick this hour for you. I played the new Angry Birds Stella by Rovio, and I really like this one. It's on Android, iOS, and Kindle. It's free with in-app purchases, and I mean, you guys know Angry Birds. Whether you played it or not, you see what it's like. You pull back to shoot the bird, and it hits these pigs that are like in a puzzle of forts that you have to figure out, and you need to knock over all of the pigs off of wherever they are before you run out of birds. And this one, though, was really designed for female players, which worked for me because I really like this one a lot. I really haven't played it since the original one, but this one I got into. The bird that you play as, Stella, is pink, and there's kind of like a pink theme going on, and Rovio really made it clear that the game was meant to be for everyone, even though it is also to attract female gamers. Basically follows the story through scrapbook photos. Stella's on a mission to rescue her friends from an evil queen. So it actually starts out where she's all happy at home, but then a pig falls through the roof and does this like na-na-na annoying noise that I'm not even going to try to imitate, and sticks out his tongue, and it makes Stella really angry, but then she starts bouncing around, and then she starts giggling, and giggling is like a really big theme throughout this whole game. Stella just has the giggles the entire time, which is pretty much something we have in common. I get the giggles a lot. But they're really doing this on purpose. Rovio is trying to add personality to their characters. Whether they're the good or bad guys, they just are adding personality. And it really worked for me because it made me like her. I thought she was really lovable. I loved her laugh. It was making me smile while I was watching her laugh the whole time. But there's also these new toys that came out for them, the Telepod toys. They came out, they're in Toys R Us. They Hasbro Telepod toys were usually based on more like action ones, like with the Star Wars and Go ones, but these ones were based more for play with like costumes and play sets. There was this guy on YouTube going off about it for like ever. It was really funny. But the graphics are, seriously, they're gorgeous. I loved that it reminded me of Disneyland, and Stella constantly giggling along with all this happy music and everything. It just added to the whole happy feel. I absolutely loved it. I had fun playing it, but I don't know, are you guys into the Angry Birds type thing? I know there's been a lot of them since the original, but this was actually the first one that I've played since the original one, but this was the one, it stuck with me. I liked it. And now Aaron was saying like, oh, you're still playing this. Oh, I put it Aaron, because he's coming up next. We're gonna have a grid chat talking about all of the new things happening with Apple today. There was a big Apple event. So we're just gonna jump into that right now. Hello again, guys. I'm Elizabeth Panos.
That was so graceful. I'm Aaron Davis, and today we're gonna talk about iPhones.
Clap for that. You broke Peach again.
She deserved it.
Aaron!
All right, why don't you tell them some details before we go?
All right, well, Apple had a big event today, and they were announcing about the new phones coming out. There's the iPhone 6 and also the iPhone 6 Plus, which basically have the same exact specs, except for that the iPhone 6 Plus is a lot bigger. The 6 is 4.7 inches, I believe, the screen, and then the 6 Plus is 5.5 inches. So it is a big difference, and the larger screen reminds me more of a Samsung. I thought it looked like the Samsung Galaxy that I actually have because it was a larger screen. But they also have 3 storage sizes. You can have 16, 64, or 128 gigabytes. And the other difference in them is really the price. The 6 is $199 for a 2-year contract, and the 6 Plus is $299 with a 2-year contract, which is both obviously really expensive, so don't drop your phones, guys.
Yes, and for me, I will be honest with you guys, the minute that I saw this event, I knew it was coming, and that's cool for a lot of people. Pre-warning for everybody out there, warning, flash the lights, cover your ears. iPhone hardcore fans, I do love Apple. Let me tell you guys ahead of time, I do love them, especially for computers and stuff like that. But I will say I am very kind of harsh towards them on phones. Now, I know that's kind of dumb to be biased in a certain way, but yeah. I kind of am and opinion-based. So for me, you guys, when I saw this, basically for me, it was a new glorified iPhone. I was like, oh gosh, here we come, where I go to the mall and I see everybody waiting outside for not much too new. There is some new updates, which we'll go into, but for me overall, obviously the only thing that really excited me was the gaming stuff, and was the fact that we can be able to maybe have the bigger screens. Obviously a big deal. Yeah. There's some better pixel resolutions, which is really cool. I know that's important because developers were saying they had to adjust what they were doing when Android decided to do this. So now that they're doing it, Apple is developers kind of already got paved the way when Android did it. Android did it first. But speaking of, you guys, let me. One thing that was kind of interesting to me is that their slogan, it seemed like, was bigger than bigger. After every one of their videos, it said bigger than bigger, and I was like, what does bigger than bigger mean? But I guess it's like their thing. But yeah, basically the 5.5 inch screen is cool, but it's already been done on like things like the LG G3, the Star 9800, original ZTE, Galaxy
Or the
Note
Nexus.
2. The Nexus, yes.
In 2012, it had the same exact specs as the new one that just came out.
Yep.
Literally the same exact thing as the 6.
Yeah, and that was kind of weird. I know that wasn't probably the best running phone.
Yeah.
Which will actually bring me to a point I did want to mention later on, which is kind of important to me. Yeah, a lot of times Android does these things first, but Apple seems to, when they get their hands on it, yes, it seems like they do perfect a lot of these things. I will definitely give Apple that.
That's true.
They're usually polished. I can't say like with my as far as computers, like I never really had problems with Apple stuff as I did with PC.
I love my Mac. I really like my Mac, but I was happy. Well, at first when I switched to Android, I wasn't really that into it, but you guys know I talked about on here that I hated my phone for a really long time. But now that I've learned how to use it over the last couple weeks, I actually really like it and I prefer it.
You were very happy with your iPhone though when you did have it. You did tell me at the time you were happy with it, but then when you not upgraded, all people take that wrong. When you switched over to an Android, you seemed to be more happy once you figured it out and you're like, hey, look, I can do this. This is better.
Oh yeah, I love, well, my favorite part is the customization, which is actually, we'll talk about later with the watches that they came up with. That you
Save that for the watch part. Yeah, but something I wanted to, they were basically saying that games are not specifically developed for the new Retina HD, which will automatically scale up to that size, which that is cool. Also, it says, here's the biggest one for me, guys. Apple claimed that this will have better performance than next-gen consoles. No freaking way.
Wait, listen, I have to say this. Destiny just came out today, or really last night at midnight, but if they were to make, this won't happen, but if they were to make a mobile version, or I don't think it will happen, but if they were to make a mobile version of Destiny, you can't compare that to the PS4 and the Xbox One. It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But something that was interesting to me is, a good question for that is, can these phones, maybe not this one specifically, but can this be a hardcore gaming device in the future? Yes, me and you are actually one of the people out there, the smaller crew of people that actually do play a lot of mobile games. They're not as, I know there's a lot of casual mobile gamers, but there's not that many hardcore mobile gamers.
It still doesn't feel as powerful to me as a console, obviously. You know, it's like I play more of the phone games while like I'm waiting for at the doctor's office or something like that. And then the console when I'm like really getting into it.
Yeah, and I think there will be a day where hardcore gamers can actually play games as hardcore gamers. I know they do have like the Moga controllers, which you can plug in, so you can have buttons, you can have D-pads, and it actually feels like you're holding a controller. But until phones really get that ultra perfect power, I think it's going to be like a big struggle for them to really get the hardcore gamers, because I will admit, guys, anytime I talk about mobile games and it's not like geared towards hardcore, a lot of people get really upset. They're like, this isn't even gaming, this is bull crap. And I'm like, I get it. There's some
different style.
Yeah, it's a totally different style.
There's the iOS 8 that came out.
Sorry, I thought you were going to go on. I got excited.
I thought you were interrupting.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Well, there's the quick type, which predicts your word before you say it, which my Android also does. It does, but it's really funny. Like when I text my mom, and like I'll say, well, this is funny to say, but like if I say I love you or something, it knows when I'm texting my mom. Like the I will pop up. Then like it knows in advance what you're planning.
Or if you text somebody like, hey, I want to go to, and you want to see the movies, and it's like, I want to go to the bathroom, and it's like, that's not what I meant to say. What if you accidentally type that in %?
Well, it predicts it off of how you text.
Then I probably would say the bathroom. So,
that's true.
But yeah, this is all us goofing around. But otherwise, that is a pretty cool update. Another one I liked, Elizabeth, is actually, it's pretty cool, but obviously it's been done and there's apps, and I know you'll agree because we're health people. There is like a new health app.
Oh, that's true.
That basically tracks everything you're doing, where you're walking throughout the day. The part that was kind of weird to me, and I don't know if it's useful, maybe you guys can tell us, other hardcore people out there, it can tell when you're elevating. Like if you go to lift your phone,
if you go up the stairs,
or if you go to lift your phone, it'll like know that you're going to lift your phone to like open it.
Right.
So I don't know. That's kind of useful. Now we're health people, we appreciate that. But then again, there's a lot of apps that already do that. So
yeah, well, that's what I was just thinking is you could just download an app if you want to. There's tons of health apps with Fitbit and I don't know. What's the other? There's another one I'm thinking of. It'll come to me later. I'm sure when we're not.
I like Noom. All right, the next one that I want to talk to you guys about is now that Siri can recognize our voice in all different languages, a lot of different languages, but they're saying the most interesting thing to me, it's kind of like Google now, where you say, okay, Google, where you just say, hi, Siri. Now, I know these are cool and I like things like that, but it's almost to me like the whole connecting when it's like, Xbox, do this. It's like, what if you're just walking along and you say something like, hi, Sally, to one of your friends, and it opens up and you're like, hey, Sally, you want to go hook up and go to a movie, and it like texts that to your mom or something, and you're like, Mom, that's not what I was trying to tell you.
Well, that's the thing though, is they did say that they upped Siri being able to understand better, I believe, because I know like when I seriously used to say stuff
seriously. Ha ha! Woo! Show's over. Talk to you guys next time on TheGrid Gaming.
No, it's not.
I just blew out our producer's ear, just so you guys know. He just yelled in my ear. So sorry about that, buddy. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Anyway, when I used to use my iPhone, I would use Siri to text my mom, like usually if I was lost coming home or something, and I'm like, hi mom, how do I get home from New York right now or something? And it would end up texting like my boss and saying something completely different, like what are you doing later? Like it was literally that different. So
yeah, I think Ellen DeGeneres actually did like a thing on that, like a show on that where she would like take songs, or actually Rhett and Link did a whole thing on YouTube where they would do songs where they'd sing like a Miley Cyrus song.
Oh, that's right.
But they would do it in the Siri thing and just sing it to whatever it was, and it'd come up the funniest videos. So.
It was great. Well, it's supposed to be getting better now.
Yes.
So what else is there, Aaron?
Well, I want to move on. Elizabeth, do you wear watches? And if no, just say you do. Say you do for the sake of the video.
Sure, I wear watches, guys.
Oh, awesome. Okay, all right.
I don't like things on my wrist.
So as you guys know, there is a new watch. Basically, it's an iPhone watch. You know, not iPhone, but an Apple watch. And what it is the watch. One of the main things in it that's weird to me is they say that it's gonna be super fluid, and they were saying that it recognizes a tap versus like a press. Now, to me, that was like kind of cool, but also I'm always real sensitive about things opening when you tap it. They didn't say anything about a lock mechanism, but I'm hoping it locks because, as we know, a lot of people back in the day when there wasn't locks, well, with your watch, you know, butt dials was a big thing where someone sits down.
I still do that.
Exactly, I know. Sometimes
it doesn't lock right away.
Yeah, someone gets a call and you're like, hello, who is this? And all I hear is, and you're like, oh, all right, it was a butt dial. All right, we're going to the next story. Yeah, but go ahead.
The big thing that I noticed with it was that you could really customize it. They had all of these different bands and everything, and that you could really make it look unique, where you couldn't even tell that it was the same type of watch, which I think is cool because the reason that I like my Android so much is because of the customization. I love that you can do that. So with this is cool that Apple's also bringing in customization into it, and that you can make it a lot of different things.
I do like that. I did appreciate it. Yeah, there was like a whole lot. They designed the ranges of their face watches. There's actually a ton of them. There's the sport band made out of that. There's the leather.
I love that that's sweat proof though.
Yes, that's smart.
That's really cool.
There's also a leather one, a classy one, a traditional one, a metal clip, a Milanese loop. I didn't know what that meant, but I just like went with it so I can sound smart to you guys.
Nod.
But yeah, they got the Milanese one for you Milanese fans. And they also got 2 different sizes, which is a small one and a large one, which is kind of important because there's a lot I don't like small little watches. I like my watches to look big and bulky and like homie status, because I define homie, and you can get these in gold. Bling, bling.
Sure, Aaron.
Elizabeth's from Philly, so. All right, but that's it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed our ramblings and our shenanigans about iPhones and all that. So let us know if you guys are excited to get them. But you guys, I'm Aaron Stapish.
I'm Elizabeth Panos.
And we'll talk to you guys here again soon at the Trainwreck. Oh wait, TheGrid Gaming. Talk to you guys later.